What we do and what we accomplish in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us.
Most of you are waking up every day looking for pain, dysfunction, drama, unemployment, being broke, struggling, dropping every excuse in the book about your childhood and the problems and dysfunction that you grew up in that's stopping you from becoming successful.
Don't be a follower, be a student, right? Take advice but not orders. Take information, but don't let somebody, order your life. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Excellent note to make. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion, not to do what someone else says. Take what someone else says, process it, think about it, ponder it. If it makes you wonder, if it makes you think, then it's valuable. Then when you go take action, make sure that the action is not what somebody told you to do. Make sure the action is the product of your own conclusion.
If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Complain, point at your circumstances, give up your power, blame the government, blame the economy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. It's hard to make a radical change in your behavior. It's hard to take ownership. It's hard to swallow the bitter pill that wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what talents, what abilities, what gifts, what ideas would die with you?
Change your mind and it will change your life. Change, if nothing around you changes, change the things that are around you.
I found that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. I found that most people fail in life because they do what I did for most of my life, aim too low and hit. And many never aim at all. There's times in your life when things are going to happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold. And you might have to reinvent yourself.
It's time you get off the pity potty, stop complaining about being out of shape when you never go to the gym. Stop looking at your stomach when you get out of the shower and your body and complaining about the way you look when you're eating everything in sight and never going to the gym.
Well, one of the things about life, you're going to get hurt, you're going to make some mistakes, you're going to fail your way to success. But you got to be willing to experiment, you got to be willing to push yourself, you got to be willing to challenge yourself. But things happen in life. When you have goals and dreams, things happen.
You are the reason you look the way you look. You are the reason you're unemployed. You are the reason why your surroundings are so dysfunctional and negative. You could still be in the hood, broke and fucked up, and living a peaceful life. It's a choice.
You have greatness within you. You can make more impact than you can ever begin to imagine.
Excuses sound best to the people that's making them up. You got every excuse in the world. That's why your shit ain't moving. That's why ain't nothing changed and nothing will change. because you have convinced yourself that everything is wrong, everything is negative, and nothing will change. And guess what? It won't change.
You have greatness within you, and to prove it, you were chosen 1 out of 400 million sperm. There's something in you, and God said, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. There's something you have that the world needs now. If you don't give it to us, we will all be deprived. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that your dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your abilities. You've got to believe in your service, your company, your ideas. Unquestionably, you must have faith. It's hard, yes, it's hard. It's difficult, yes, right, and it's worth it.
The entire process of asking other people who we should be is inauthentic. That's hilarious to me. All these positioning studies we do are inherent. We're going to do a study to find out from people so we can be more authentic. That's hilarious. Say and do what you actually believe, and the symbols you put out there, the things you say and the things you do, those red hats are ways that people can find you.
It's not superhuman, it's human. The unfortunate thing is that you have to put the word super in front of it, when it's the ambition, it's what we should all strive for. You know, that commitment to the gesture, to the love, to the how we approach today, how we approach each other, how we approach humanity, how we approach art and beauty, and ultimately, in Martin's case, how we approach our instrument.
And conversely, when you look at something that looks easy, that was probably hard. And so you're never going to know which is which until you actually go and do it. So just go and do it, try, learn from it. You'll fail at some things. That's a learning experience that you need so that you can take that on to the next experience. And don't let people who you may respect and who you believe know what they're talking about, don't let them tell you it can't be done. Because often they will tell you it can't be done, and it's just because they don't have the courage to try.
Impossible is not a fact. It's an opinion. Impossible is potential. You're being called weird, or you're being called different, or whatever the hell you're being called. I'm here tonight to tell you your critics do not count.
So I don't have to go through this again. Great! Just do it. Art, I don't feel like I've had enough training. What I do? You just do it. Art, my manager don't give me no help. What I do? You just do it. Art, you don't understand. I was Mr. Everything at my former company. You don't mean I have to start off down at the bottom and do it, do you? Yep, you really got to do it. Art, what's the primary difference between winners and losers? The winners do it, they do it, and do it.
Willing to fail is an inspiration. People are so scared to lose that they don't even try. Like, one thing that people can't say is they can't say, I'm not trying, and I'm not trying my hardest, and I'm not trying to do it the best way that I know how with what little information I get.
Successful people, I imagine, have to worry less about what the size of the obstacles are, the finances or the lack thereof, and all the other things that we can say represent the size and weight of the opposition. and what the successful person is going to aim to do, and what all of us that would like to be successful would probably want to adopt as a part of our philosophy would be to worry less about the obstacles and fix our thoughts on the goal.
When you stand for something important, it not only motivates you to get up in the morning and go and work on it and beat on your craft, but it also helps guide your decision making.
You have to be unafraid to dream.
Right.
And then you have to be even more brave and gallant about blueprinting what you've envisaged.
Yes.
You got to be brave about that.
There's no losing, only learning. There's no failure, only opportunities. And there's no problems, only solutions. So to me, what failure is the mother of all success. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan getting cut from his 9th grade basketball team, he wouldn't have became Michael Jordan.
The most important one. That's when you improve. So if you got 16, you're in 5, and you're tired, you're dying, you gotta even take take a little bit more rest time, take 1 more minute and go. Because that's when you start improving. That's when the work pays off now, because your legs are dead and you gotta push your body. You gotta overcome. It's like you're moving past a barrier or moving a step forward. A lot of people just wanna stop because they're dead tired, but you gotta do that extra one, because that's when you improve.
You hear the expression all the time, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, but don't forget, you can only make the grass greener on your own side of the fence. You can't change the color of the grass over there. You can only change the color of the fence on your side. And so the real issue is, where's the best opportunity? Where can you find opportunities in your life?
To dream and dream big, and understand that your family and friends and loved ones, in most cases, boyfriends, girlfriends, they will be the first to try and talk you out of your dreams, your visions, and ideas as to what you're supposed to do with your life. They will say, who wants you when you've already had 2 or 3 kids? Who wants you when you put on all that weight? Who wants you when you're looking like this and been through this and been through that? Nobody's interested in you. Nobody's checking for you. They'll laugh at you. They'll call you names because they have no dreams. They have no hunger for success. They don't have an appetite. They don't want it.
There are moments in life when you just want to know who you are. It's not that you're lost, it's that there's a feeling you have, that something is changing. You don't know what, but something is about to change. Who you are doesn't feel so solid anymore. What used to do it for you last year isn't getting it anymore. What used to satisfy you last year isn't touching it. What used to be comfortable and familiar doesn't feel easy anymore. It's starting to get heavy. It's starting to look like a distraction. You're not sure, but there's a feeling you have that some old habits might have to change. You're not sure, but you're starting to realize that how you spend your time might have to change. You're not really sure, but you're almost convinced that some friends might have to go. That feeling, that's the beginning of one of the realest things there is in life. That's the beginning of a trip that will test you and pull you into parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. It's the beginning of a thing called growth. It's something we all need. It's a requirement for life, and all of us get at it in different ways. Growth is what keeps life going. It's the reason we arrive at a new year and everybody has a new resolution, something they want to add to get better at, something they want to grow. I'm going to get in shape. How many times have you heard that before? I'm going to discover my worth and treat myself better. How many times have you thought that before? But do you realize that within the first 2 weeks of making a New Year's resolution, 95% of the people who said they would, who committed to it, they break that resolution? 95%, that's high. Growth isn't easy. Growth is not a walk in the park. Growth is hard. It's not easy waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to work out. It's difficult going back to school, trying to earn a degree you should have earned 11 years ago, holding down 3 kids, a job you can't afford to lose. It's difficult trying to confront all the issues of your past because you want something more for your future. Growth is change, and change is the one thing that terrifies as much as it excites. It's the one thing that is hoped for as much as it's despised. It's the one thing that people ask for and in the same breath reject. Change is inevitable. Change is terrifying, but change is all there is. Nobody gets to be 3 years old forever. People come, people go. You have it today, you lose it tomorrow. Try all you want, but you can't stop it. It happens regardless. And that's it, the real hang-up. You have no control over it. And that's terrifying. You see, growth, that's the authentic, that's the spontaneous nature of growth. It just happens. And sometimes you don't feel prepared for it. You can feel something about to change, but you don't feel prepared. When you don't feel prepared, let me ask you this. What do you whisper to yourself? Can I really do this? Can I really divorce this person? Can I live without them? What have you told yourself because you didn't feel ready? I'm too old to go back to school. I've been doing this for 30 years. I can't change now. What do you believe because you don't feel you're ready? You don't feel you have what it takes. You may not know this, but growth is automatic. It's built into nature. And believe it or not, it actually has a formula. A mathematical formula that describes spontaneous, efficient growth. Nature's code. The golden section, Fibonacci sequence. It's a growth pattern you see everywhere in nature. It's in plants. You cut a banana in half, and it's there. You see it in snail shells. It even describes the way your hair grows. Cut off all your hair and watch it grow back. There's a spiral that forms the crown of your head that describes that growth. Growth is spontaneous. It happens by itself. It happens because it has to. It happens because it must. Your problem is that you think you have to design it. You believe you have to prepare it. But the truth is, all you have to do is move. All you have to do is act. Act on that feeling that you can't describe. Act on that sense that there's something more in you. Action is all it takes to grow. Look at it. The Fibonacci sequence begins 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and on and on. You see, what's happening is that every step up, every change, every level switch, every growth move is the result of what came before. Nothing new, nothing added, only what came before. What I'm saying to you is that everything you need to grow, everything you need to get to the next level, you already have. You've already been through it. That's how you get 3, 1, and 2. That's how you get 5, right? 3 and 2. 8, 5, and 3, and so on and so on. But the sequence started with 0. It all starts with 0. 0 is potential. 0 is the engine. 0 is the driver. And that's you. The thing that comes next is 1. That's action. That's movement. That's doing something. That's making a decision. That's all there is. There's you, and there's what you decide. And at the end of that, there's either growth beyond anything you can imagine, or nothing at all. It's painful to have to end the relationship after 7 years of just hanging on. It's not easy to pick up the phone after 10 years of silence and say, I'm sorry. It takes everything you have to get back up, stitch up the wounds, and start again. It's hard to trust that feeling that it's time to change. It's time to let go. It's time to become something else. There's always that question mark. How am I going to do this? But the beauty of this whole thing is that you don't need to know how you're going to do it. All you have to do is decide. See, I believe that there comes a time in life when all you have is what you feel. You don't have any answers. You don't know why. You don't know how you're going to do it. You don't know what you're going to break. You don't know who's going to leave. All you know that time has run out. And if something is going to happen, it's going to happen now. There comes a time in life when you say enough. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to change something. The year is over. Something new is starting. What are you about to change? From all of us at Motivation HQ, Happy New Year. My name is Angelo, and I'm the motivator. We all need a boost sometimes, a little inspiration, some motivation. The fact is, life gets tough, things get difficult, and when you look around, there's no one to talk to. Some insight, some new perspective can change all that. That's who we are at Motivation HQ. We keep you going, we inspire you. We're there for you when you need more. Life is about the challenges we face, but it's also about the motivation to do something about them. Visit www.motivationhq.co. It's in the description below. You won't find content like this anywhere else on the web. Be a part of it. We're growing, and don't forget, we're called HQ for a reason.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up.
Your life is a testament to the idea that nothing is impossible. That if somebody says no, you say it's just the beginning.
The most poignant 7 words ever uttered in any speech anywhere. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
You have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. You've got to find what you love. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Confucius said one time, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. The only thing that I see distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me, you might be smarter than me, but if we get on the treadmill, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple.
Most people don't even try, sadly. Most people try and then stop or give up. Very few people try and try and try, or do and do and do and do and never give up. And those are the people that ultimately succeed and win.
And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. And when you go through life like that, something in you dies. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there, that you never get a chance to call on because you have not challenged yourself.
If you want to make your dream become reality, the people that are running at their dreams know that it's possible that you can live your dream, that it's necessary, that you're relentless, that you have a plan of action, that you are creative. The people that are living their dream are finding winners to attach themselves to. The people that are living their dreams are the people that know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them. And they're resolving within themselves, it's not over until I win.
If you think you're going to be a lot happier if you've got 2x instead of x, you're probably making a mistake. I mean, you ought to find something you like that works with that, and you'll get in trouble if you think that making 10x or 20x is the answer to everything in life, because then you will do things like borrow money when you shouldn't, or maybe cut corners on things that your employer wants you to cut corners on. Or it just doesn't make any sense. You won't like it when you look back on it.
You have to push forward if it's in your heart, because I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Who would ever thought that you can build an empire? But if you put your mind to it and push forward and keep, no matter if your family tell you it's a hobby, you need to do something else to get money or whatever, man. It's like, if you believe in it, you got to follow that dream in your heart, man.
This is what his poor dad said: go get a degree and get a job. His mantra was, go work for money for the rest of your life. And that's what poor and middle class people do. They learn how to work for money. They work for others all their lives. The first person they work for is their employer. Then they work for the government, because the government takes taxes as soon as they receive an income. And then they work for the bank, because they buy a big house, they have a big car, so they're paying mortgage, they're paying interest to the bank. So only after they have worked for the employer and the government and the bank, do they really start to work for themselves. And then they wonder why they're not rich.
Things like persistence and desire and determination, words that usually have a lot of strength behind them, words that really have a connotation to, being able to battle through. And while things like desire, persistence, determination, etc. are very useful, they're useful for when we go through obstacles, when we require an immediate injection of force to try and break through certain levels of limitation. In other words, if we are sitting there as a victim of life and we want to be able to break out and take charge of our own circumstances, words like persistence and desire and being able to break through are valuable words.
To make changes in any organization, you have to have a measure of very high persistency. You've got to go on and on and on and on. If we don't have that persistency, very often you fall off just when success is around the corner.
We should not be pursuing money. We should pursue purpose. We should pursue vision for ourselves and for our countries, for our communities. We should be not pursuing things. We need to pursue ideas. That's right. I always say that there are three types of people in the world. There's poor people, there's rich people, and there's wealthy people. Poor people talk about money all the time. Rich people talk about things. Wealthy people, they talk about ideas. Rich people, poor people, and wealthy people think differently. For example, poor people, they pursue money. Rich people pursue things. Wealthy people pursue ideas. And so constantly there's a different way of thinking. I hope that the third world countries and the young people of our nations will become ideas people.
Preparing yourself to be lucky, putting yourself in situations where you can get lucky, where it's not so much luck, it's preparation.
Set deadlines. No matter what, you have to set deadlines. People have to be held accountable to them as well, right? You can't just set a deadline, it passes, nothing happens. Someone better be meeting them. If not, something has to change. You also need to make sure they're small. If the milestones, goals are too big for those deadlines, they're not going to get met. So make them really small and tangible. That way you can see it really well in advance if they're actually going to be met or not.
Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into, given that even if you're the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. If you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. I mean, it's something that your mind is drawn to, and if you don't like it, you just really can't make it work, I think.
The secret code for everybody is keep your dream alive, because it might come true someday. This is what the secret code is.
Make it big, make it meaningful, and then start the grind. Start it today.
If no one doesn't like what you're doing, then you're probably not doing anything interesting, right? If it's getting only positive feedback, then you're probably not doing anything new or interesting, right? So let some negativity be a sign that, okay, good, I'm actually saying something new and something meaningful.
To be successful in life, you have to have three things in balance. If not, how would you run a 24-hour-a-day business if you didn't have a balance in your life? You follow me? I mean, you'd have a nervous breakdown if you were just a workaholic, wouldn't you? So, I think to be successful, you have to have all three, and you'll be more successful if you strive for balance in your life. You'll make better decisions. Somehow wives really ground the hell out of you. You're not a big shot at home, and it's good. Just try to remember, make goals every year for all three: work, love, and play.
Whatever it is that you desire with all your heart, understand once and for all that it can and should be yours. So right here, firmly establish in your mind that which you desire more than anything else. If you're willing to burn your bridges behind you and say once and for all, this is it, this is what I will do, and I will never retreat, I'll never go back, then you have the sort of desire that can only end in success.
So desperate to figure out how to convince people that there is no loss in going for it. Because being 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and having regrets that you didn't swing the bat is the worst of them all. Our at-bat is in front of us. Take a swing.
You're not stuck. You are not stuck. You can read a book, take a class, move on to the next thing. You are not a victim.
This is your year, and if it's not going to be anybody's fault but yours. You get to decide. I'm not talking about a New Year's resolution. A New Year's resolution is something you do with too much champagne. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really deciding I'm going to move the needle in an area of my life that's been frustrating me. And some of these areas I've been winning in, I'm going to win even bigger.
What we do and what we accomplish in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us.
Most of you are waking up every day looking for pain, dysfunction, drama, unemployment, being broke, struggling, dropping every excuse in the book about your childhood and the problems and dysfunction that you grew up in that's stopping you from becoming successful.
Don't be a follower, be a student, right? Take advice, but not orders. Take information, but don't let somebody, order your life. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Excellent note to make. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion, not to do what someone else says. Take what someone else says, process it, think about it, ponder it. If it makes you wonder, if it makes you think, then it's valuable. Then when you go take action, make sure that the action is not what somebody told you to do. Make sure the action is the product of your own conclusion.
If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Complain, point at your circumstances, give up your power, blame the government, blame the economy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. It's hard to make a radical change in your behavior. It's hard to take ownership. It's hard to swallow the bitter pill that wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what talents, what abilities, what gifts, what ideas would die with you?
Change your mind and it will change your life. Change, if nothing around you changes, change the things that are around you.
I found that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. I found that most people fail in life because they do what I did for most of my life, aim too low and hit. And many never aim at all. There's times in your life when things are going to happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold. And you might have to reinvent yourself.
At the results we're getting, I want you to take a real honest look at your results. And when you look at them, ask yourself, am I living the way I really want to live?
Work ethic eliminates fear.
Yeah.
You know, so if you put forth the work, then what are you fearing? You know what you're capable of doing, what you're not.
We got to go at it with everything we got. We got to close our eyes at night and take a rest. And we look back on that moment and say, man, I squeezed the most out of this day possible. That's what living is.
I would rather aim for the stars and not hit them than to not aim at all. I would rather go after it and not get it than not go after it at all. I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. I don't want to live with the idea, wonder what would have happened had I done more with my life. I'm going to go for it, come hell or high water. I'm going after my destiny. You got to run after your destiny. You can't stroll after your destiny. You can't walk after your destiny. You got to run.
You knew you were going to slam on some tricks. Like, there was no way around learning certain things.
Yeah, but I think that's the kiss of death, is if you're convinced that you're going to fail or fall or get hurt, that will come to fruition because that's what you're visualizing. I never I was willing to get hurt along the way, but I didn't visualize myself getting hurt along the way. And I think that's what stops a lot of people, and that's really what separates a lot of people from being world champions or from being as good as they can, because they stop at some point saying, oh no, I am not capable of this, or I'll probably get hurt doing this. And if you approach anything with that hesitation, you're going to fail. I always approached it like, this is going to work. I'm going to figure this out, even if it takes me hundreds of attempts.
I also did something really smart along the way. I told you I was going to do it. People don't get it. There's a reason Muhammad Ali is the legend he is, because he told you it was going to happen. That's a different game. That takes a whole different makeup.
I told you, I'm the real champion. I told you, I'm the champion of the world. All of it all. All my critics call. All you suckers who write the Rings magazine. This is your moment. I don't care what you've been through. You can make a decision. Some of y'all can't get out here and get the best things that you want out of life going after the weakest things, going after stuff that's worthless. You got to go after the greatest things that you could ever think of. Joe Frazier said, look, I'm not preparing for the second best in the world or the third best in the world. I want Ali.
Man's only limitation within reason lies in his development and use of his imagination and subsequent motivation to action.
You gotta prepare for greatness. You go to the top. We don't prepare for this thing by looking at the bottom of the mountain. We prepare for this thing by looking at the summit.
if you believe in yourself, if you constantly remind yourself after every defeat, after every setback, every time you get knocked down, I've got a saying, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. See, a lot of people, because of failure, they stop believing. Let me share something with you. You will fail your way to success. Yes, 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. You will fail your way to success. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It doesn't matter how many times people tell you that you can't do it. It doesn't matter if you don't have a dime in the bank. You will fail your way to success.
The greatest thing is love. When we feel like we don't have enough love and we don't have enough hope, we start losing strength to live. For me, in my life as a child, I had a big wall. I was surrounded by 4 walls and a low ceiling of opportunity. I was set free in so many different ways, and especially surviving from day to day with my parents who loved me, who encouraged me, who told me that I was beautiful the way that I was, and not to worry about what other people said about me. And the world is a hurting place, and the world needs hope, and the world needs love. Without hope, we feel like, why are we here? Today, I still have no arms and legs, but everything's changed. Everything. For me, I was looking for hope and happiness, and I couldn't see it for many years. In fact, if this side of the table represents my hope, truth encourages me to become all that I can be. But then we have lies every day coming in our mind, people who discourage us. You know the people that you have in your life who, no matter how good of a day you're having, they'll bring you down. Or no matter how bad of a day you're having, they'll bring you even lower.
My brother, he constantly reminded me that I couldn't do what I'm doing now. But that really wasn't the bad part. The real bad part was I convinced myself that I couldn't do it. Not only because of those things that he pointed out, being practical and realistic, but also that within myself, I didn't believe what Mike Williams, my mentor, said was possible for me. Have you ever had somebody who believed and saw something for you that you didn't see for yourself? And here's how I escaped that. I discovered that sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in.
Nick, you're not good enough. Nick, just give up. Nick, you're never gonna get a job. You won't get married. You can't even hold your wife's hand. What kind of a father are you gonna be if you can't even pick up your kids when they're crying? You're alone. Sure, your parents hug you, but their hugs can't heal you. Just give up. 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 At age 8, I thought that I should commit suicide. Why? Because I didn't have hope. I thought I didn't have hope. Today you can see that I had hope. What's the word? Believing in something you do not see. Faith.
When you lose your job, when you lose your retirement, when you go to the doctor and they look at you and say, you have cancer. Cancer is the most feared word in 7 different languages. That's when it's tough to have faith then. And that's when you need to call on your faith then. They said faith is the oil that takes the friction out of living. That's when you need to believe in yourself then, and judge not according to appearances, and say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. I can make it. It's possible. I'm going to get through this. It's possible. I'm not going to allow this to get the best of me. Yeah, I don't know what you're up against. I don't know what you're facing, but here's what I do know. You've got something special. You've got greatness in you. And I know it's possible that you can live your dream.
If you could become world-class at any skill in the next 6 months, particularly if it's something that you dreamed of and put up on a shelf and gave up on,
what would amazing look like for you? What would amazing look like if you were amazing? If you know what amazing looks like, then why haven't you gotten there yet? I want you to say, the reason I'm not as amazing yet because I hit the snooze button. That's why I'm not amazing right now. The reason why I'm not amazing right now is because I couldn't get up early enough because I told myself I'm not an early person. I don't get on Twitter every blue moon. I don't get on my app every blue moon. The reason why some of you will never be successful because you're not immersed in it. When you wake up in the morning, look at your goals. Your goals will tell you what time to get up. Are you hearing me? Your goals will tell you who you should be hanging out with. I can't tell you, but your goals will tell you how much sleep do you need. You might not need to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning for your goals, but your goals are going to define what time you get up, how you live your life, how you move, when you say yes, when you say no.
Think like the person you intend to become.
I want your dream to be so clear, so vivid, right? That when you wake up in the morning, all you got to do is step in your dream. The difference between people who talk about it and people who do it is one simple word, application. They hear it, and they don't just hear it, they digest it, and when they digest it, boom, they do something with it. If you are alive, I know you ain't reached your best yet, right? You got more. You could do more. You could see more. You could be more. I know that all your energy, all your strength, all your skills, all your capabilities, right? You're not operating on 1,000%. I know there's still some things you can do, some limits that you can push, some buttons you can push, some opportunities that you haven't explored. And the second thing I know is this. I know that you are not experiencing life to its fullest.
Like life itself is a process of becoming, a part of man's ongoing historical drive to manifest his consciousness outside of his mind, in front of his eyes.
Greatness is when we overcome our own boundaries, when we surprise ourselves.
When mapped out, when we get the long view, when we get the big picture.
That's greatness. Ask not what the world needs, ask instead what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. What makes you come alive? What gives you the goosebumps? What gives you the chills? What makes you well up?
Somewhere deep inside, you know what kind of person you were designed to be. Ask yourself, how would the person I'd like to be do the things I'm about to do?
Greatness is upon you, and it's time for you to bring that thing out. There's power in consistency. There's power in doing something over and over and over and over again. There's power in practice. Don't rush the process. Yeah, feel me. Some of y'all are trying to rush the 21 days. It takes 21 years to be 21 years old. Don't rush the process. Trust the process. It's a matter of life and death. Yes, it's a job you don't want, but that job is going to propel you and position you for the next job. It's not just a class. It's the rest of your life. Are you hearing me? It's not just working out. It's an extra year on your life. It's not just eating right. It's another 7 years on your life. It's a matter of life and death. And so your life is in your hands. Your dream is in your hands. Your future is in your hands. So, what would amazing look like?
You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your abilities. You've got to believe in your service, your company, your ideas. Unquestionably, you must have faith. It's hard. Yes, it's hard.
It's difficult, yes, right, and it's worth it.
Never play to the gallery. I think, but you never learn that until much later on, I think. But never work for other people at what you do. Always remember that the reason that you initially started working was that there was something inside yourself that you felt that if you could manifest it in some way, you would understand more about yourself and how you coexist with the rest of society. I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. I think they generally produce their worst work. And when you don't feel that your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting.
I think you only influence to a certain extent. I think what happens is that you look at somebody and think that maybe something you had as a small seed in your own mind, you see maybe that person has extended that or gone quite a long way with what you think you might like to do, and you think, yeah, that person's doing what I really like to do, and that's what could happen. That's what I can do with what I've got. Spend half their lives trying to avoid bad things happening to them. I'm of the impression that bad things are something that really are important to one's life. Bad experiences are not necessarily a bad experience. You can learn from tragedy, and I think you can. I don't think they should be looked at negatively at all. There's a certain kind of regret that when you haven't been adventurous with your ideas, there's when you get into a later life and you haven't even tried to do some of the things that you really wanted to do, and you can look back and say, damn, if only I'd had a go at that, things might have been different, or I would at least know if I could do it or not. And the people I looked up to when I was a kid, like William Burroughs and like Little Richard and like John Lennon, they did it, and I thought, well, I'm an absolute fool of myself, but I'm going to, go for it too. I didn't strive for success. I strived to do something artistically important.
And my brother's face just tells the story. I go into the emergency room and I was like, Donald Smith? And they're like, I'm sorry, he passed. And they took me into the room. There's my father laying on a gurney, just dead. He still has a tube sticking out of him, and they're trying to intubate him or something like that. But just motionless, quiet, no breathing whatsoever. When I was a kid, I used to lay on the floor while my father watched Bowling for Dollars. And he would lay kind of, like if the TV's here, he'd lay on his back. And I would lay on the floor on his stomach watching Bowling for Dollars and shit. And so after I saw him on the stretcher, I put my head on his chest because I realized that was it. That was the last time I was ever going to. So I remember asking him once, Dad, what were your dreams? And he was just like, well, I just wanted to get married and have kids. So I guess it kind of happened. He was a good dude. And he worked at the post office his whole fucking life, just to pay for the family that he had. He didn't necessarily like working for the post office or believe in the mail or something, but it was what he needed to do to pay for his fucking wife and his kids and stuff like that. Good dude. Deserved way better than to die screaming. But that good dude, he did die screaming. And I remember thinking, oh my God, in this world where even a good man like my old man is going to die screaming, there's no point in not trying to achieve every fucking dream that I have. This is my eventual end. One day, that's it.
I want you to ponder these 4 questions. Here's the first one, and that's why Why pay the price? Why work this hard? Why go this far? Why try to learn this much? Why try to do it all? Why try to see it all? Why try to have it all? Why do it? Why learn it? Why study? Why put yourself out? Why try to take on this much responsibility? Why develop yourself to the full? Why try to become all that you can possibly become? Why try to earn as much as you can earn, share as much as you can share, develop every skill you possibly can, see every human you possibly can, go to every class you possibly can, touch everybody you possibly can? Why do that much? Why go that far? Why share that much? Why give that much away? Why try to see everything? Why try to do everything? Why try to become everything? That's a good question, why? And you're the only one personally that can answer that question for yourself. You've got to have your own list of whys. Here's what I want you to do when you go home after you've left this extravaganza. Work on your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership training, here's what we learn. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. But if the why isn't strong, if your goals aren't powerful, if the vision isn't clear, the old prophet said, without a vision we die, without a vision we perish, without a dream we're nothing.
This is my future. We're all probably going to go out screaming. So the best thing to do prior to that is to try to pack that life with as much wonderfulness, fun, productivity. Surround yourself with people that are going to fucking help you do that. You know, because in this world, there's not a lot of support. Man, you tell people something, they'll tell you why. Throw a rock and you'll hit somebody with why. Like, hey man, I want to make a movie. Why? Why do you think you could do that? Why? Why? Nobody else is doing it. Why are you doing it? There's so much fucking why. You go out and you find why not. You surround yourself with why not. People are just like, why not? Where you're like, hey man, I'm going to try something. Like, all right, why not? Let's give it a shot. People who try to help you do your dreams, make your dreams come true and shit, and you do the same for fucking them. We're all in this together. But I've been trying to impart one simple lesson for nearly 20 fucking years. Anybody can do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't born into a business or the film business or born with a mic in my hands. I have no fucking discernible talent whatsoever, man. I have no connections to the business. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. It's always worth the fucking shot. Live a why not life, man, because we're all gonna die fucking screaming. So make sure when you die screaming, you're totally fulfilled. You're like, I took all the shots, I did it. I went after everything I wanted to, or at least tried. Take the shot. The shot is always fucking worth taking. So I'm here to tell you, man, give it a shot. Go out and try.
Without a dream, we are nothing. I'm asking you to make a list of what you want. What kind of health do you want? What kind of skills do you want? What kind of income do you want? What kind of gifts do you wish to bestow? What kind of power would you like to have? What kind of influence would you like to have? I'm asking you to go home and work on the why. Because if you can come up with a strong enough list of why, Herbalife can furnish the how. Why not see how much you can earn? Why not see how much you can learn? Why not see how many skills you can develop? Why not see what kind of person you can become? Why not see what kind of influence you can have? I want you to establish some of your goals. I want you to give thoughtful consideration to your goals. And why not? If a farm boy can wander out of Idaho and finally arrive at this extravaganza, why not you? If Mark Hughes can walk away from the tough side of town and find a few people and make a dream come true, why not you? Why not? Why not? You've got to stay here till you go. I mean, what else are you going to do? Why not see how much you can do, how far you can go? Why not now? There never was a better time.